Ferrari has had a terrible and problematic 3 races, and this poor start to the season can be attributed to a combination of factors, including a lack of speed and reliability issues with their car. After the Australian Grand Prix, one thing's for certain, Ferrari needs to make significant improvements if they want to hope to compete with the front runners and achieve consistent podium finishes in the upcoming races. Carlos Sainz has suggested that the team needs to take a new direction, but the team principal Fredric Vasseur thinks otherwise. Keep watching and we'll tell you everything there is to know. In the opening races of the season, the team showed that it was faster than Red Bull last season and looked set to win the championship. The great moment at the start, unfortunately, faded over the season, and after a series of misfortunes and bad calls by the team, the championship slipped right out of their hands, and the team finished second. Coming into this season with a new team principal, the expectations and hope were that the team would have learned from last year's mistakes and come back stronger and more capable of challenging Red Bull for the championship. However, things have not been going as hoped for. This year's start has been even worse, and it seems that Ferrari has taken a step backwards in terms of performance. From the very first race, the team has been faced with numerous problems. In the season opener, Charles Leclerc recorded a DNF when reliability issues struck and his engine shut down in the closing laps of the race. Sainz finished 4th after having massive tire degradation and consequently falling off the pace from the Red Bull cars in the second half of the race. In Saudi Arabia, the team experienced further difficulties in the tire management in the cars, with both drivers experiencing significant degradation during the race and finishing 6th and 7th for Sainz and Leclerc, respectively. Carlos revealed that the team's race pace and balance were not where they wanted them to be to produce respectable lap times. On the positive side, he stated that the team had figured out what their weaknesses were and that this was confirmed by tests in the wind tunnel. So, the team knew where to make improvements to the car. He's optimistic that they'd be able to deal with all the issues, and even though it would take a while, he was confident that they'd be able to catch up to the other teams. However, that tone seems to have changed after the Australian Grand Prix, where Leclerc recorded another DNF after a lap 1 incident, with Lance Stroll leaving him in the gravel, and Sainz finishing out the points after being given a 5-second time penalty and colliding into Fernando Alonso. Sainz had started 5th and was up to 4th by lap 7, but dropped to 11th after pitting under a safety car, which turned into a red flag soon after. Sainz, nonetheless, made his way up to the 4th place again before second red flag and subsequent restart happened. Not factoring in the penalty, that was a good recovery, but Sainz doesn't think so. On the contrary, seems to have lost all hope in the SF23 and the planned upgrades that he believes that a complete overhaul of the car will be required to actually perform. That's the developmental direction the team needs to take if they really want to win races and fight for the championship. Ferrari retained their design concept of wide, long side pods and a scalloped top surface, which they believed would give them an advantage in terms of aerodynamics and speed on the track. While the team has been successful in improving its straight-line performance, for 2023, it's not enough. The other teams, and especially Red Bull's aero efficiency and downforce, have also improved. Now Sainz believes that it's time to consider other designs for the car, as theirs is not producing enough speed and downforce. Here's what he said. At the moment, the Red Bull is superior everywhere. It's superior in quali, in races, and in straight-line speed. They're superior in medium/low speed corners. They're superior with tire management, superior over curbs and bumps. It just shows that we need to change something. We need to go and check something very different from where we are now. I think the extremely good performance at the start of the last season made us, keep pushing with this concept, with this project of a car. But I think now we realize that Red Bull has a clear advantage in every single department, and we need to start looking to our right and to our left. We're a bit puzzled because last year we thought we had nailed it, but clearly, as the cars have developed, the capacity of the development of the Red Bull direction is a lot higher than the capacity in the development of our project. This has put us on the back foot. Now we have to react, and we got to react quickly. If not, they're going to run away with it. Despite suggestions from Carlos Sainz that the SF23 needed a major rethink, Vasseur stated that Ferrari will not be making significant alterations and has ruled out a B-spec car concept change for its Formula 1 car this year. Vasseur argued that the cost cap and wind tunnel hours made concept changes at this point in the season too challenging, and therefore they're not considering any big changes to the car and that the team will therefore remain committed to their design philosophy. He believes that the solution lies in improving the current design rather than starting from scratch. He added that they've been working on upgrades that should address the issues that they've identified and that they're confident that they'll be able to make progress in the coming races. When asked if a change of concept was coming, Vasseur said this. No, I don't think so. We have a flow of updates that'll come out, not for Baku, because at Baku we're going to have an aero package for the level of downforce. And with the sprint race, it's not the easiest one, but for Miami, Imola, not at Monaco, but at Barcelona, each of these races will have updates in the car. We're sticking to the plan, but we made some adjustments in terms of balance and behavior, and it was much better in Melbourne. And we'll continue in this direction. It's not a B car, if that's what you want to say. We won't come with something completely different. We'll continue to update this one, and we'll try to update massively. To do a new project during the season, to start from scratch, to do a new car with the cost cap, but also considering the restriction of the wind tunnel time, I don't want to say that it's impossible, but it's difficult. After the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Vasseur said that the setup improvements were needed to maximize the potential of the SF23, and this was done in Australia. With the small changes made, Vasseur highlighted the parts that the team had made steps forward with, despite not getting any points. Here's what he said. There are positives. If you look at the whole weekend, Saturday, we were disappointed with the result, but the level of performance was there. We just didn't put everything together. But on Sunday, the pace is good. We had to do an extra pit stop, but I accept this, and the pace was all right. It's a step forward from 2 weeks ago in Jeddah, and now we have to do another step forward for Baku. Even with these early struggles, Vasseur remains optimistic about the team's chances of improving throughout the season and closing the gap with its rivals. The team has already identified areas for improvement and is continuing to work hard to address them, and is determined to continue building on that momentum. Baku's around the corner, and while it's no big updates are coming out from the team, there is a big responsibility on Vasseur to ensure that his drivers are motivated enough. Sainz ain't a happy man. On top of Vasseur saying the team will retain the car design, the FIA has turned down the request to review the penalty handed to him in Australia. And things aren't so different with Leclerc. His only aim right now is just to see the checkered flag and finish a race. Leclerc has 10 points and sits 10th in the Drivers' Championship. The team has only 26 points and is 4th in the Constructors' Championship, behind Red Bull, Aston Martin, and Mercedes. And though Sainz and Mercedes might agree that changing the car concept is the way to go, it's not guaranteed to produce better results. Pressure is mounting on the team to turn their fortunes around, and with their track record of messing up strategies, it's hard to see the team rise to the championship. The pressure's on Vasseur to come up with a game plan that's not only going to motivate his drivers, but also ensure that the team performs well in the upcoming races. You know, a little bit of an important part. With Baku being a challenging circuit, the team just can't afford to make any mistakes. Only time will tell if they can turn their fortunes around and climb up the championship standings. Do you think Vasseur is right to stick to their original plan? Or do you agree with Sainz? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to the video. Yeah.